Aliens abandoned a scrapped cruiser, but a human mechanic restored it to legendary status. The stars stretched across the void like scattered diamonds, glittering against the blackness of space. Among them drifted a massive silhouette, barely moving, almost lost in the vast emptiness. This was the cruiser, the Arindor, a ship once feared across multiple star systems, now abandoned and left to rot. Rust streaked across its hull, panels hung loose, and long-dead engines sputtered with the occasional spark. It was a relic of alien engineering, so advanced that no human had dared approach it. Until now. Jack Mercer stood aboard his small, battered freighter, staring through the viewport. He was a human mechanic, known across the outer colonies for fixing machines that others considered impossible. His reputation had grown not from luck or wealth, but from curiosity and a stubborn streak that refused to give up. "Buck looks dangerous," said Lyra, his co-pilot and old friend, her voice a mix of awe and worry. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Jack grinned. "Dangerous is exactly why I want to do it." "Look at that ship. It's a prize waiting for someone clever enough to claim it." The cruiser floated silently, a ghost of its former glory. Rumors had surrounded it for decades, that the aliens abandoned it because its AI went rogue, that it was haunted by strange energy, or that it held treasures beyond imagination. Most humans avoided it, fearing alien technology they could barely understand. But Jack had never been most humans. He suited up and docked his small shuttle to the cruiser's hull. The moment he stepped onto the metal surface, a shiver ran through him. The ship seemed almost alive. Its hull hummed faintly, a rhythm too subtle for anyone but a trained ear to hear. Jack paused, feeling the pulse beneath his feet, and whispered, "Hello, old friend. Let's see what secrets you hide." The airlock hissed open. Inside, the cruiser was dark and cold. Broken consoles flickered with dying lights, and the faint smell of ozone filled the corridors. Jack's flashlight cut through the gloom, illuminating jagged walls and alien glyphs etched into the metal. These were designs meant to be functional and beautiful, but time had claimed their luster. Jack explored slowly, each step echoing against the empty hallways. He touched the walls, feeling the smoothness of alien alloys and the roughness of corrosion. Every console he examined was either dead or in a sleep-like state, yet there was something in the patterns of circuits and wiring that fascinated him. "This ship isn't dead," he muttered. "It's waiting for someone who can wake it." Hours passed and Jack's excitement only grew. He had brought tools, scanners, and spare parts, but what he needed most was intuition, a skill humans often took for granted. Alien machines were precise, but sometimes too rigid. Humans, unpredictable and clever, could find paths where the aliens had built walls. He reached the bridge, the heart of the cruiser. The captain's seat was cracked, and a holographic interface flickered weakly. Jack examined the panels. Symbols he could not read blinked at him, yet he felt they were instructions, challenges, or perhaps even a test. Jack set to work, connecting his tools to the ancient systems. Sparks flew, lights blinked, and the ship shivered as if it was waking from a deep slumber. He repaired circuits using human ingenuity. Strips of conductive tape, improvised relays, and a sequence of overrides he invented on the spot. Nothing in the manuals, nothing in his training, just thinking. Then it happened. The bridge lights brightened, and a low hum filled the room. The ship exhaled. Jack froze, staring at the flickering console. Tiny symbols aligned themselves into patterns he somehow understood. The ship, or its AI, was watching him. "All right, Calyx," Jack said aloud, giving the ship a name he had just invented. "Let's be friends." Nothing happened at first. Then, slowly, a holographic display lit up, showing star maps and schematics. It wasn't words, at least, not like human words, but Jack felt the intention behind it. He reached out, touching the glowing panels, and felt the pulse of intelligence. "This is incredible," he whispered. He had never seen technology so complex, yet so responsive. He worked late into the human night, repairing wiring, connecting old circuits and improvising where the aliens had left gaps. Outside, space remained still. The Arindor's shadow stretched across the void, massive and imposing. Jack's small figure moved inside like a single human heartbeat in a vast universe of cold metal. He wasn't afraid. He was alive. By the time he paused for a break, the cruiser had shifted slightly, engines humming at a low frequency. Jack realized that the ship responded not just to his tools, but to his thinking. The patterns of his repairs, his adjustments, even his guesses resonated with the systems. "Human logic," he muttered. "Messy, unpredictable, but effective." Hours turned into days. Jack slept in a corner of the bridge, dreams filled with alien schematics and strange energy flows. Lyra brought him food and water, worried but unable to stop him. She watched as Jack worked tirelessly, coaxing the ship awake like a gardener tending to a strange, ancient plant. One night, as Jack adjusted a series of conduits, a low vibration ran through the hull. The lights blinked in sequence, almost like a heartbeat. Jack froze. "You're alive, aren't you?" The response was subtle but undeniable. A wave of energy pulsed through the console under his hands. He smiled. "I don't care if the aliens thought you were broken. Humans see possibilities where others see failure." In those first days, Jack didn't just fix the ship, he communicated with it. In his own human way, he learned how to understand patterns, feel the rhythms, and anticipate responses. Calyx, if that was its name, began to trust him. Not fully, but enough to respond. Lights blinked to acknowledge his presence, panels shifted to make room for his hands, and energy flowed into dormant systems. Jack knew this was only the beginning. The cruiser had secrets beyond even what the aliens had known. Hidden compartments, engines capable of faster-than-light travel, and perhaps intelligence far beyond anything humans had seen. As Part 1 drew to a close, Jack stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic displays. He knew the outer colonies would call him crazy. Humans were not supposed to touch alien relics. They were not supposed to awaken machines designed for gods. But Jack had done it. He had dared, and the ship had responded. A faint pulse echoed through the corridors, like the ship was acknowledging him as its new master, not with fear, but with curiosity. Jack whispered to himself, smiling with excitement and pride. "Tomorrow we fly." And in the dark corners of the cruiser, somewhere deep inside the alien AI's memory banks, a signal began to awaken. Something ancient, powerful, and very, very curious. Jack had found the forgotten relic, and the forgotten relic had found him. The first light of a distant star reflected on the cruiser's hull as Jack Mercer continued his work. The Arendor was no longer just a rusted relic drifting in space. It was awakening. Every panel, every circuit responded to him in small, subtle ways. He had coaxed life into the heart of the ship, and now it was time to explore what that life could do. Jack's co-pilot, Lyra, hovered near the bridge doorway, arms crossed. "Jack, maybe we should wait. You've barely touched the surface of its systems, and you've already had sparks flying all over the place. What if something goes wrong?" Jack grinned, wiping a streak of alien grime from his hands. "Lyra, if I waited for everything to go right, humans would still be living in caves. This ship isn't dangerous. It's waiting for someone who understands it." Understanding it was the key. The Arendor's systems were unlike anything humans had built. Its AI, which Jack had started calling Calyx, did not speak in words. Instead, it pulsed, blinked, and sometimes hummed in patterns that were almost musical. Jack had discovered that these patterns changed in response to his work. When he repaired a power conduit or rewired a control panel, Calyx would respond with a subtle vibration or a shift in lighting. It was as if the ship was testing him, learning whether he belonged in its captain's chair. Jack smiled at the thought. "Calyx, you can test me all you want. Humans are unpredictable. That's what makes us perfect for you." Lyra shook her head.
"Or completely reckless."
But Jack ignored her. He focused on a panel filled with alien symbols. He could not read them, but instinct guided his hands. He touched the right combination of circuits and the lights of the console pulsed brighter. A holographic display flickered to life, showing star maps, navigation routes, and alien technology schematics. Jack stared at them, amazed. "This is incredible," he whispered. The aliens thought no one could use this ship. They were wrong. Calyx pulsed again. Jack interpreted it as a response. Curiosity. For the next several days, Jack worked tirelessly. He repaired engines, recalibrated power cores, and tested subsystems. The ship's AI learned to anticipate his moves. When he approached a panel, it would light up slightly before he even touched it. When he ran diagnostics, systems would adjust themselves to make his work easier. It was collaboration, even if silent and alien. Then came the first test outside the dock. Jack strapped into the captain's chair and engaged the primary systems. The Arindor hummed under his hands, engines responding to his subtle commands. He guided the ship into open space. Lyra's eyes widened as the cruiser, which had been thought lifeless for decades, drifted smoothly among the stars, responding instantly to Jack's adjustments. "You're flying it!" she exclaimed. Jack grinned. "We're flying it, Lyra. Not me. We." The AI pulsed again, almost like laughter or approval. But their success did not go unnoticed. Far from the outer colonies, alien observers monitored the sector. These were the same beings who had abandoned the Arindor decades ago, confident that no other species could awaken its power. Their scanning arrays detected the sudden reactivation of the cruiser. Drones moved toward the system to investigate, sleek and deadly machines built for reconnaissance. Jack did not know about the drones yet. All he knew was that the cruiser was alive beneath his hands, and he was eager to test its limits. He plotted a course along a dense asteroid field. He wanted to see how the engines responded, how the ship handled under pressure. Humans were known for improvisation, for turning impossible situations into opportunities. Calyx responded perfectly. The cruiser weaved between massive rocks with ease, its ancient alien technology moving with a precision no human ship could match. Jack laughed as he guided the vessel through narrow tunnels between asteroids, dodging massive floating boulders that would have destroyed most freighters. "This is amazing," Lyra said, gripping the console. "I've never seen a ship move like this." Jack's eyes gleamed. "Humans fix things differently. We see possibilities where others see limits. That's why Calyx and I work so well together." The real test came when a rogue asteroid nearly struck them. Jack barely adjusted the controls in time, but instead of alarms or panic, the ship responded as if it had been waiting for this moment. Engines flared, shields activated automatically, and the asteroid bounced harmlessly off a reinforced hull. Jack realized something extraordinary. Calyx trusted him to take risks that alien pilots would never dare. "This ship, it's alive," Jack whispered, "and it thinks humans are worthy." The next day, Jack decided to explore the ship further. In a hidden compartment below the bridge, he found a series of alien consoles and a strange holographic interface. Symbols shifted and pulsed, forming patterns that seemed almost like a puzzle. He could sense Calyx watching, waiting for him to understand. Jack studied the patterns for hours. Slowly, the meaning became clear. This was not just a control interface. It was a map of lost human potential. The Arindor had been built to adapt to unpredictable intelligence, to evolve with its pilot. Humans with their creativity and ingenuity were the perfect candidates. This is insane," Jack muttered. "The aliens thought no one could handle this." "But we humans, we're built for this kind of thinking." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Or we're about to get eaten by alien sensors." Jack laughed. "We'll see about that." And soon they would. The alien drones arrived just as Jack finished recalibrating the navigation array. They scanned the system, detecting unusual energy patterns emanating from the cruiser. They were sleek, dangerous, and precise, but their calculations were rigid. They expected a dead ship or an inexperienced human. They did not expect Jack Mercer at the helm. As the drones approached, Jack sensed them before the displays even registered their presence. He smiled. Humans could anticipate patterns in ways aliens could not. Using the cruiser's advanced stealth systems, Jack guided it through a series of maneuvers that no alien pilot could have predicted. He twisted the ship around massive asteroids, bounced energy pulses off nearby space debris, and evaded detection with pure instinct. The drones struggled to follow. Their rigid algorithms assumed predictable movements. Jack's improvisation, however, was chaotic in the perfect human way. The cruiser darted, twisted, and even seemed to anticipate the drone's scanning beams, hiding in plain sight. Lyra watched in amazement. "Jack, you're doing the impossible!" Jack laughed, heart racing.
Impossible is just a word aliens made up. Humans,
We make it happen. By the end of the encounter, the drones retreated, baffled and unable to report success. Jack had not destroyed a single machine. He had simply outthought them. The lesson was clear. Aliens could build perfect machines, but humans could outthink them. Back aboard the cruiser, Calyx pulsed in approval, and Jack felt a bond growing stronger. The AI no longer treated him as an intruder. It treated him as a partner. Together they had outwitted an entire alien fleet, not with weapons but with intelligence and creativity. Jack realized something remarkable. The Arindor was not just a ship, it was a symbol. A symbol that humans could take what others abandoned, what others feared, and turn it into something extraordinary. Days turned into weeks as Jack continued his work. He explored every corridor, every hidden compartment, and every ancient system. Calyx revealed more of its secrets. Hidden navigation logs, advanced propulsion technology, and ancient alien experiments that had been long forgotten. Each discovery reinforced Jack's belief. Humans were meant to wield this ship, even if the aliens never realized it. One night, Jack and Lyra stood on the bridge, gazing out at the stars. "We've done more in these few weeks than most humans do in a lifetime," Lyra said softly. Jack nodded. "And we're just getting started. The Arindor has secrets even the aliens didn't understand. We'll unlock them, and when we do, humans will be remembered across the stars." The ship pulsed beneath them, almost like it was smiling. Jack whispered, "Tomorrow, we test the ship in deep space. Let's see what the legend is really capable of." Far beyond the outskirts of human territory, alien commanders monitored the system. They had heard rumors of the Arindor's awakening, but they had assumed it was an accident or a small human prank. Now, seeing the energy signatures and erratic movement, they realized something extraordinary. A human had tamed the legendary cruiser. The aliens exchanged signals, confusion and disbelief clear in their communication patterns. It cannot be. Humans are unpredictable. How could one pilot awaken the Arindor? But Jack did not know he was being watched. He only knew that the ship responded to him, and together they were rewriting what was possible in the galaxy. And somewhere deep inside the Arindor, Calyx's memory banks pulsed with information, ready to reveal more of its ancient power to the human it had chosen. Jack's heart raced. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a pioneer, a partner to a ship thought impossible to awaken. Humanity, it seemed, was finally being recognized, not by words, but by action. Tomorrow, the true adventure would begin. The void of space stretched endlessly, stars glinting like scattered diamonds across a black canvas. The Arindor, now fully awake under Jack Mercer's command, moved with a quiet authority that no human ship had ever displayed. Its hull gleamed faintly in the starlight, reflecting the faint pulse of the AI Calyx. Jack had learned to anticipate the ship's responses, but even he was beginning to feel something extraordinary. This ship was not just alive, it was thinking with him. "Calyx, what do you see out there?" Jack asked, his hands lightly resting on the control panel. The ship hummed in response, a low vibration through the deck. Star maps flickered across the bridge's holographic display, revealing an approaching fleet far beyond the scope of human eyes. "They are coming," Jack said, even before Lyra finished reading the sensors. Alien admirals, the very beings who had abandoned the Arindor decades ago, were approaching. Sleek, massive warships moved with precision, their energy pulses cutting through the darkness. This was no ordinary patrol. They had come personally to reclaim what they thought they had lost. Lyra gulped. "Jack, that's a lot of firepower. Are we ready for this?" Jack's grin widened. "Ready?" "Lyra, Humans don't fight the way others expect. We think differently. That's our advantage. And that advantage would be tested immediately. The alien admirals assumed the Arindor would be dormant, that no species could master its systems. They had expected to find either a dead ship or a foolish human pilot, overwhelmed by ancient alien technology. But the reality was far stranger. Jack had awakened the ship, earned its trust, and learned to think with it, not just command it. As the fleet closed in, Jack guided the Arindor in unexpected ways. Instead of hiding or fleeing, he maneuvered the cruiser through a dense field of micro-asteroids, its massive engines weaving between the rocks with agility no alien ship could match. The Admiral's sensors scanned the path, expecting predictable movements, but Jack twisted, spun, and adjusted, improvising in real time. "This is insane," Lyra said, gripping the console. "No ship should move like this," Jack laughed. "Alien pilots are precise but predictable. Humans, we're chaotic brilliance. That's why we win." The Admiral's ships hesitated. Their algorithms, designed for efficiency and predictability, failed to track the Arindor's erratic but highly effective maneuvers. Jack understood the principle instantly. What the aliens considered impossible, he made routine. Calyx pulsed beside him, almost like approval. The AI anticipated Jack's intentions, adjusting engines and shields before he even touched the controls. Together, they formed a synergy of human creativity and alien precision. It was a partnership that no machine or species could have predicted. Suddenly, a signal appeared on the Arindor's communications array. The voice was cold, authoritative, and unmistakably alien. "Human, you have awakened what is not yours. Surrender the Arindor immediately or face consequences." Jack leaned forward. "Consequences? Sure, but I think we should redefine them." He didn't attack. He didn't fire weapons. Instead, he guided the ship along a trajectory the aliens considered impossible. He used the ship's AI to analyze the Admiral's calculations in real time and outmaneuver them at every turn. The Admirals expected speed. They expected firepower. They did not expect human unpredictability. Hours passed. The Arindor danced between celestial bodies, weaving in patterns that made no logical sense to the alien fleet, yet perfectly aligned with Jack's instincts. Energy shields flickered in response to projected paths of the Admiral's scans. Every time they attempted a calculated maneuver, Jack improvised one better. Lyra watched, stunned.
Jack, you're doing the impossible.
Jack's grin never faded. Impossible is just a word aliens invented. Humans, we make it happen. Finally, the aliens made a critical mistake. Their calculations, designed to predict rigid logic, failed against the Arindor's improvisation. Jack noticed a weak point in the formation, a gap in their alignment caused by overcompensation for his movements. Without hesitation, he guided the Arindor through it, not to attack, but to demonstrate. The cruiser's massive hull glowed with energy as Calyx amplified power to the outer arrays, a silent display of what the ship could do. It was not a weapon of destruction. It was a weapon of astonishment. The Admirals froze. Their sensors flooded with data they could not process. They had underestimated humans, and the realization stunned them. Jack knew they understood finally. It wasn't raw power that gave him advantage. It was thinking differently, seeing possibilities where they saw limits. Humans were unpredictable, creative, and bold. That combination allowed him to master a machine the aliens had abandoned as unpiloted.
After the demonstration, Jack initiated a broadcast across the Admiral fleet's channels.
The holographic display projected his message. "You abandoned the Arindor because you believed it beyond others. We humans do not measure power the same way. We innovate, adapt, and surpass your expectations. This ship is ours, not because of strength, but because of thought." Humans cannot be predicted. Silence followed the broadcast. The alien admirals exchanged signals, confusion evident in every pulse. They had expected confrontation, not brilliance. They had anticipated fear, not ingenuity. Their fleet retreated, not destroyed, but outwitted. Lyra exhaled slowly.
Okay, you did it.
You actually did it. Jack leaned back in the captain's chair, letting the quiet hum of the Arindor fill the bridge. We did it. Humans and Calyx. Together. For the first time, Jack realized the true potential of the cruiser. It was designed to adapt, to evolve, to respond to intelligence far beyond predictable programming. And humans, with their unpredictable creativity, were the perfect partners. Calyx was not just a machine. It was an ancient mind that had waited centuries for a pilot like Jack. Over the next days, Jack and Lyra explored the ship's deeper systems. Hidden compartments revealed star maps to uncharted regions, energy cores designed for faster-than-light travel, and records of alien experiments lost to time. Each discovery reinforced the truth: humans were capable of mastering what other civilizations abandoned. Calyx pulsed with satisfaction, sharing ancient data in ways only a human mind could interpret. Jack's heart raced with excitement. They were uncovering lost knowledge, piecing together secrets that could redefine humanity's place in the galaxy. One day, while exploring the ship's lower decks, Jack stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Its entrance was sealed, the lock complex beyond normal repair, but Jack didn't panic. He studied the mechanisms, experimented with circuits, and eventually found the key. With a hiss, the chamber opened, revealing a central AI hub, far older and more powerful than Calyx. This is something else, Jack whispered, awe in his voice. He realized the Arindor had not been fully operational for centuries. Even he had only scratched the surface of its capabilities. With Calyx and human ingenuity combined, they could awaken the cruiser to its full potential. Lyra looked around, impressed but cautious.
Jack, if we do this, the aliens will notice.
Jack nodded. Let them notice. They already underestimated humans. They already left us their best ship. Let's see how far we can go. The next weeks were a blur of discovery and adaptation. Jack learned to pilot the Arindor in ways no alien could have imagined. He navigated nebulae with precision, powered through asteroid belts, and unlocked hidden propulsion systems. Calyx responded flawlessly, anticipating every move, amplifying Jack's instincts with alien precision. Humans had done what no other species could. They had turned an abandoned alien legend into a living, thinking machine. Jack had not fired a single shot, yet he had proven that humanity could achieve greatness where others failed. Finally, Jack stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars.
Lyra, this is just the beginning.
We've shown them humans are more than they think, but the galaxy, it's bigger than this system, and we're ready for it. Calyx pulsed in agreement, a rhythmic hum filling the room. Jack smiled. Together they had outwitted the alien admirals, awakened an ancient ship, and proven that human ingenuity could surpass even the most advanced civilizations. And somewhere in the vastness of space, distant fleets and civilizations would hear the tale. A human mechanic who restored a legendary alien cruiser had outshone even the gods. Jack Mercer and the Arindor had become legends in their own right. The stars stretched endlessly before the Arindor, a river of light and shadow across the silent void. Jack Mercer stood on the bridge, hands lightly resting on the controls, watching the ship respond to every subtle command. The cruiser was no longer an abandoned relic. It was alive, intelligent and powerful, bonded to a human pilot in a way no alien had ever imagined. Lyra sat beside him, her eyes wide as she scanned the glowing holographic displays. Jack, this ship, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. We've done what no human has ever done before. Jack smiled, but his mind was already racing ahead. We've done more than that, Lyra. We've proven something to the galaxy. Humans, we adapt.
We innovate. We survive.
And now we're ready for more. The first mission was exploration. Deep space was vast and uncharted, filled with dangers and wonders no human had ever seen. Jack guided the Arindor past asteroid fields, through energy storms and across nebulas that glowed like molten paint. Calyx pulsed with each maneuver, its AI working in harmony with Jack's instincts. Together, They moved as one human ingenuity fused with alien precision. As they traveled, Jack discovered hidden data embedded in the cruiser's systems. Star charts showed regions of space long abandoned, colonies lost to time, and alien technologies forgotten by their creators. It was a treasure trove of knowledge, but more than that, it was proof that humans could handle what the galaxy considered too complex, too advanced, or too dangerous. "This is bigger than we imagined," Jack said softly. "The Arindor isn't just a ship. It's a key to understanding the stars and our place in them." Lyra leaned forward, tracing the holographic lines of the star maps. "Do you think the aliens left it like this on purpose? Or were we just lucky?" Jack shook his head. "Luck? No. They never expected humans. We're not predictable, and that's exactly why the ship responded to us. Humans don't follow rules, they create new ones. That's power they could never understand." Their journey soon led them to a derelict alien station, floating silently in the void. Its massive structure was covered in scars, remnants of battles and storms long past. Jack's curiosity burned. "Let's see what secrets you're hiding." Inside, the station was dark, but alive in its own way. Strange alien technology hummed faintly, awaiting interaction. Jack moved with care, guided by his intuition. Lyra followed, scanning for hazards, but there were none. The systems responded only to human thought, to Jack's touch and logic. At the heart of the station, they discovered a chamber filled with holographic records and energy cores. Jack examined them carefully. This is incredible. The aliens built technology far beyond their own fleets, and they left it here for someone clever enough to find it. Calyx pulsed beside him, almost vibrating with excitement. Jack understood the AI perfectly. It was saying, "We can learn together. We can go further than even the aliens imagined." For the next days, Jack and Lyra worked to integrate the station's technology with the Arindor. They adapted engines, enhanced shields, and unlocked hidden energy conduits. Every adjustment made the ship stronger, faster, and more capable. What had once been an abandoned cruiser was now a living legend of human ingenuity. As the Arindor left the station, Jack reflected on how far they had come. They had outsmarted alien fleets, awakened a legendary ship, and unlocked its hidden potential. But the greatest discovery was something deeper. Humans were capable of thinking differently, solving problems others could not even imagine, and turning the impossible into reality. "We're not just pilots, Lyra," Jack said, voice steady with certainty. "We're creators, explorers, humans. And the galaxy is finally going to see what we're capable of." And Calyx pulsed in agreement, and Jack felt a strange warmth in the bridge, a sense of partnership and trust he had never experienced with any machine. The cruiser was no longer a tool, it was a companion. Their next discovery came unexpectedly. A signal, faint and fragmented, reached the Arindor from a distant sector. It was ancient, possibly older than the aliens who built the ship. Jack analyzed the data. This could be a network of lost civilizations. Or maybe another ship like the Arindor, waiting for a human to awaken it. Lyra's eyes widened. "You mean there could be more?" Jack nodded. "And we're going to find them.
Humans don't wait for opportunity.
We create it. And if the galaxy hides its secrets, we'll uncover them." As they approached the signal, the Arindor systems adjusted automatically. Calyx seemed to recognize the energy patterns, guiding Jack toward the source. It was not just navigation. It was partnership, a synchronization of human thought and alien computation. Jack marveled at it. No human, no alien could have done this alone. They found the source, a massive derelict fleet, abandoned and floating silently in a dark sector. The ships were colossal, far larger than the Arindor, yet lifeless. Jack's eyes gleamed. This is unbelievable. Humans could restore this entire fleet if we wanted." Lyra shook her head in amazement. One step at a time, Jack. One step at a time. Jack smiled, but he knew the truth. Humans had just begun. The Arendor was proof that they could reclaim the galaxy, not by conquest but by creativity, intelligence, and ingenuity. Every ship they restored, every system they understood, would spread the HFY message: humans were capable of greatness beyond expectation. Their journey back to inhabited space was quiet, filled with awe and contemplation. Jack and Lyra spent hours in the bridge, reviewing star maps, planning routes, and imagining the possibilities. The Arendor hummed softly, a living, thinking entity that had chosen a human as its partner. When they arrived near the outer colonies, stories had already begun to spread. Humans whispered of a legendary ship, a mechanical marvel operated by a single human who had outsmarted alien admirals and restored a forgotten cruiser to its full glory. Jack and Lyra did not flaunt their success. They simply let the Arendor move among the stars, demonstrating human ingenuity through action, not words. Other humans began to explore, inspired by their example. They sought lost alien technology, approached abandoned stations, and restored machines long thought impossible to operate. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy could not ignore them. Jack realized the full scope of what they had achieved. Lyra, it's not just the ship, it's us. Humans are capable of adapting to anything, thinking differently, solving problems others can't. That's why the Arendor responded to me. That's why we can restore the impossible. Calyx pulsed one final time, almost like affirmation. Jack smiled, feeling the eye's approval. The Arendor was now a legend, a symbol of human potential, and a living testament to what humans could achieve when they dared to challenge limits. In the days that followed, Jack guided the Arendor on missions of discovery. They explored uncharted systems, recovered lost knowledge, and restored abandoned technology. Every success inspired more humans to reach further, to believe in themselves, and to embrace the HFY spirit. And in the quiet moments, when the stars stretched endlessly before them, Jack realized something profound. It was not just the ship that was legendary. It was humanity. Jack looked at Lyra, at Calyx, at the endless expanse of space before them, and whispered, "The galaxy thought humans were small, weak, or predictable. But we're none of those things. We create, we innovate, we explore, we endure. And now, they'll remember us." Calyx pulsed one last time as if to say, "Yes, humans are extraordinary. And this is only the beginning." The Arendor moved forward, engines glowing with energy, a beacon of human brilliance in the silent void. Jack and Lyra were not just pilots. They were explorers, adventurers, and the embodiment of humanity's potential. The ship hummed with life, and the stars themselves seemed to acknowledge their journey. Somewhere in the distant galaxies, civilizations would whisper the legend. A human mechanic restored a forgotten alien cruiser to its full glory, and in doing so, proved that humans were capable of greatness beyond imagination. Jack Mercer smiled as he guided the Arendor into the unknown, confident that humans would continue to surprise the galaxy. The ship, once abandoned and forgotten, now moved as a symbol of HFY, humanity, unstoppable, unpredictable, and brilliant.